Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to replace a loose fence post. So off the top of my head, there are three reasons why you would have a loose fence post. First of all, the post has rotten at the base in the concrete. So when it comes to doing a fence, there's no barrier between the wood and the concrete like there is a base plate on a foundation for a house. The second reason is that the concrete is cracked, allowing play in the post between the post and the concrete. And then the third reason is that the post wasn't set below the frost line. So when it got cold, water would freeze, turning into ice, and then that would push the post up over time. But what we'll do now is we'll look at the loose fence post, and then we'll do material and tools. Alright guys, this is our post, and it is loose just like a tooth. So guys, this is what we're going to be fixing today. So what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright guys, this is our materials list. So I've got gravel here. The plywood is in case we have to block off one side so we don't use so much concrete. 3-inch screws, deck screws. We have our 5x5 posts, and then 2 bags here of post haste concrete. So guys, this concrete here is really, I would say, only for fence posts. It's quick setting concrete. It says 15 to 30 minutes right here. I think it's more like 45, but guys, this is our materials list. So what we'll do now is the tools list. All right guys, this is our tools list. So we have 4-foot level, pickaxe, shovel, hand tools, safety equipment, earplugs, glasses, and my cordless kit. I believe what I need here is the Sawzall and the impact. But guys, this is what I believe I need for tools for this job. So let's get started. All right guys, first thing we need to do is we need to cut the nails. So there's one nail here, and then there's one nail down there. I believe this is only 2 nails for this panel to this post, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the nails on this side, I'm going to cut the nails on this side, and then we're going to try to move this panel out of the way, move this panel out of the way, so we have clearance for our post. Alright, first thing, we'll cut the nails. The post is rotten at the bottom. Alright, so we see the bottom here. This is all rotted out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dig this out. We will dig it down to 18 inches. And once we've dug it out, we'll come back. Alright guys, so we went down about... We're down about 20 inches, so we're below the frost line. I've already put the gravel down. So the next thing that I'm going to do is we're going to take the post, we're going to put it into the hole, we're going to screw it to our panel, we're going to plumb the post. Once that's all ready to go, we're going to mix up our concrete and then throw it into the hole. That's actually okay right there. Alright, so for one of the key things is this spacing here. As we go down, we want them to be parallel. I mean, most people won't notice it, but I do. And I like my stuff to be nice and straight. Okay, so there's 2 things they're checking for. Plumb this way, which is way out, and then plumb this way. And the plumb this way is fine.
So this way. Okay. Right now.
Also, stuff like this where you have a knot.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not on the knot.
There.
Okay. right there is plumb. So we're gonna mix our concrete, we're gonna throw it inside, and then we'll have time to move this back and forth to where it needs to be.
Okay.
Alright guys, so it has relatively the same consistency as concrete. We don't want standing water, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our concrete here and then throw it into the hole. Alright, so we're going to keep our approach relatively straight. Go ahead and toss it in. Alright, so we're going to get everything off to the back side. Alright, so now we're going to stab, get all the bubbles out. Make sure you go all the way around. You don't want to have any air pockets, anything like that. Alright guys, so with that all stabbed to death, what we're going to do is we're going to check our plumb one more time. Now is the time to get this right where you want it to be. So the top needs to come my way a little bit like that. Go ahead and push. Stop. A little bit back. Stop. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stay here for the next 10 minutes just to give the concrete a chance to set up and make sure that this doesn't move. Okay, so because we are the top is wider, it looks like an ice cream cone. What we're going to do is we're going to put a block in here, we're going to put a block in here, we're going to backfill dirt on the back side, and that is going to keep our concrete coming up instead of going outward. So go ahead and tap it down. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to mix up our concrete. We're going to carefully put it in, and then once we have some concrete in, we're going to backfill the back side. If we put in dirt on this side, it may push in. If we put in concrete on the other side without backfilling this side, it'll push out. So here's a little bit of a balancing act. But what we'll do now is we'll mix up our other bag of concrete and then put it in and then continue our way up. Alright guys, with the concrete put in, it's still quite wet, but I mean, this is post haste, it's going to dry fairly quickly. But what we want to make sure is that we have a bevel, so the concrete at the very base of the post is higher, and then any water will shed away. So I'm going to give this about 10 minutes. I'll come back. I'll make sure everything is good to go, that it hasn't started to sag anywhere. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to make sure that our fence post here is plumb and here is plumb. And then once that's all done, we'll wait until this completely cures, and then we'll put the other fence post back in. Sorry, the fence panel back in. Alright, so this is our concrete. It's been about a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. So this is relatively cured at this point. It says 50 minutes to half an hour. But with this done, what we're going to do now is we're going to get our next panel. We're going to screw it into the other end, and then we're going to swing it into position on this side. Alright guys, so that is it for this job. So our post is nice and solid. The concrete is going to be high enough, guys. Once again, you want the concrete higher than the level of the soil. Also, these panels were originally set too low. That's why it's all rotted, because they're sitting on the ground. So guys, as I said in my one quick tip of the week, make sure that your panels are about 1.5 inches off the ground. If you need to, put in a metal screen or something to keep animals or anything like that out if you want to. But there are now 4 screws in each panel on each side. So I've got 2 here, I got 2 on the other side, I got 2 here, 2 on the other side, and then the same thing for down over there. But guys, we're done. Everything looks good, it's nice and solid. So what we'll do now is an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. The most tedious part of this job was getting the old posts and the concrete out. We just had to dig down. The posts actually went down deep enough, but they didn't start the concrete at the bottom of the post. But for the most part, I think the install was better than I was expecting, which was just be horribly bad. The time on this job, the time was about 2.5 hours. Again, digging out was the single longest part of this job. Everything else went along fairly well. Guys, you can see by the bottom of the by the bottom of the fence panels how rotted they are. This is what happens when you put fence panels straight on the ground. Leave a gap to allow water, insects, and anything else, moisture, to drip away from the panels so they won't rot out prematurely. The cost of this job, the post haste and the post together were about $50. Everything went off without a hitch on this job. Everything went fairly well. I'm very happy with this. Guys, this is something definitely you can do on your own. I think the single biggest investment that you'd need is a sawzall, a reciprocating saw, to cut out the nails. And also, I don't recommend trying to pull out the nails. The wood is old, it's going to crack and break. If you just cut it and leave it there, then you can just throw in some screws. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.